Hello, my name is Mari-Liia Asset. I'm representing Startup Estonia, which is a kind of like central and governmental body who takes care of the whole startup ecosystem in Estonia. Within the team, which consists of only 9 people, I take care and focus on cybersecurity track. So my aim is to grow the number of new cybersecurity success stories. But before I start off with my presentation, I actually would like to congratulate EBS and Mirel and Amanda, because with these steps to open up the incubator, you are taking a giant leap for the students that are studying here or have some kind of linkages to the EBS. So congratulations to all of you, because this opens lots of new opportunities and doors. So, I will cover basically 2 topics today. First of all, there is the topic, what is Startup Estonia and what kind of value we can offer to you. And then the second topic is, how does the startup landscape in Estonia look like? There was one question also from the audience already. So how does the landscape look like? Then Startup Estonia is the entity who analyzes it and brings all the statistical background together. So our value proposition to the world is that start your startup from Estonia, because our startup ecosystem is vibrant and very capable, and we have the highest number of unicorns per capita as in any other country. So use Estonia as your operational system for your startup. The goal for, I will stay in here. So the goal for Startup Estonia is threefold. The first goal is that our startup ecosystem would be friendly enough to have all doors and windows open for new ideas to come in, so that innovation could pop out. Then the second goal is that the legislative environment, there's no pointer, or yeah, the legislative environment is clear and transparent. And then the third is that funding is accessible. So these are the kind of axes on which we work on. Our main goal is that by the end of this year, we would have 1,000 startups growing out of Estonia. Today we can say that we have reached it, and now setting new goals. So the number of startups, more than 1,000. I will not cover all the details about it, but the KPIs that are important is that how many people to work within the sector. So currently the number is more than 6,000 people have been employed by the startups in Estonia. Then an interesting KPI is also how many founders are coming to establish their company from abroad. This number is then 28, and how many of the founders are female. This is currently only 15, which is only slightly better than the global average, which is 13. But this is for the next period of our activities, one of our main goals, to raise the number of female founders. And the other KPIs for us are the taxes that the startups pay for Estonia, and then how many investments do they bring in to Estonia. This is very nice, 1.1 billion euros that the startups have brought to Estonia during 12 years. And more than 90% of the funds are coming from outside of Estonia, so additional money flow. So some of you are beginners studying at the EBS, some of you are quite experienced already. But let's go through what is a startup. So because in different countries, the startups are defined in different ways. There was also a question from the audience whether ICT is always there. So according to our definition, yes, IT must be always there, because this is the technological component within the startup is something that allows you to scale afterwards and reach the effect that you want to reach on a global scale as a founder. So technology-based is one of the KPIs, innovative, that you are driving to create some new value that isn't there yet. Then the business model is repeatable, which basically means that you have, when you know what you want to achieve and you have tried it out, that when I do this way, then the impact will be the greatest. Then afterwards, when you want to grow to other markets, then you can use the same model and by repeating it, and this makes you very flexible and quick in your growth. Then the growth potential is high and business model is scalable. So here is a graph of the investments that have been invested into Estonia. The timeline starts with 2008. This information is actually crowdsourced based by Estonian startup community themselves. So the initial founders of and team members of Skype and today very well-known startups, they start off this like community-based information gathering, and here we can see the results. With the red line are all the numbers of deals that have been invested to Estonia. So it isn't straightforward. The numbers are kind of rocky, but the investment sums are quite nicely growing. So you might ask what happened in 2017 and 18. There were, for that kind of jump, there was very specific reasons. In 2017, Estonia received a third unicorn, and in 18, then the fourth unicorn, TransferWise and Bolt. That meant that they received large investment sums, and yeah, that's why the pillars are so high. And when you see that in 2018, then the number of total deals has kind of dropped to 40, then there is also like parallel effect that after we had 2 unicorns, they had lots of money to hire talented people. That meant that the talented people were not able to found something new themselves because they had more luring opportunities, right? So these numbers must be viewed together. So as a side mark, whenever you have questions, you're more than happy to ask. Yeah. So the usual way how the investment landscape looks like is that somebody receives a large investment, and then there is a long tail of smaller investments. This is the first half of this year. The total amount is almost like 150 million, which is quite comparable to the last year's same period. But we shall see how the second half of this year will look like, because the investments quite often are announced a bit later than they actually are signed. So we shall see. Oh, here is the list of our global unicorns, in case you haven't seen the logos yet, but here we have shown also then when the companies were established, like Playtech in 1999, and then the unicorn status was in 2007, and so on. In the pipeline are Moniz and Pipedrive, hopefully also Verif and many others. So what does then Startup Estonia do? We act as an umbrella organization which gathers information from the startup ecosystem and from support organizations such as incubators and acceleration programs and universities and investors, communities, and so on, to find out whether we have some kind of bottlenecks which inhibits the growth of new startups. This is also the reason why we try to have always up-to-date information, who are the players. And this is a graph which actually helps new founders. So from this information, you can find out that, all right, so it goes like this, that here are 4 stages of startups, how mature they are. So in the beginning, you are in the startup mindset, building gathering your ideas and trying to figure out what I'm going to do, how to do it, what do I have to know, and so on. So this is the startup mindset building. Then there is a pre-startup phase, which means that you don't have the company established yet. You are working on many different projects and so on. And then the latest growth stages also. And in horizontal level, there are then what kind of services can you then have. All of this information you can find from our website. Yeah, so you don't have to go through each and every one initially, but you can have an easy overview. Who are the players? So join our lively startup community. In case some of you would ask from me, what do I like about Estonian startup community? Then I truly love the mindset, the positivity, the openness, that there is a principle that every and each of one of us is a mentor to other person. You don't have to be having many degrees, or you don't have to be having a high position, but what counts is your experience and your understanding of the world. Because even when you have lower experience in the world, you can think differently, but the value creation potential is really high. And this makes it really, really enjoyable, at least for me, and I hope also that for you. So one of the ways Startup Estonia creates value for the ecosystem is that we have created Startup Visa measure. This offers an opportunity for startup founders to have talented people working for their startup from abroad as one track, and then the other track is that in case you are not outside of EU, but you would like to grow your startup in Estonia, then you can also use Startup Visa measure to establish your company in here. And then the conditions for that are better and not that critical, but way easier for you as a founder. So far, altogether, more than 2,500 people have granted the right to relocate themselves to Estonia. And here you can see also the top countries from where the founders come and from where the workers come. But totally, we have had applications for founding a company from more than 80 countries. And on a global scale, this Startup Visa measure is one of the most successful ones. So pay attention whenever you have started your startup and you would like to have easier access to talented people from outside of EU, then check out Startup Estonian webpage and Startup Visa measure. So here is also a nice quote, because I kind of thought that perhaps this addresses the secondary school level a bit better, but I see that this is not quite the right audience. Ede Shank-Tammikivi is one of the founders and representatives of the support organization within Estonia. The organization's name is Eesti.2.0. They organize annual summer schools for secondary school people with this concept that you can bring whatever idea you have with the technological component, and we will provide you the best technological startup minds that we have at our hand reach. It has been very, very successful over the 3 years, and TransferWise is backing them up. So Aine also referred that from the legal side, Startup Estonia offers some help. We have model documents presented at our webpage. This means that there are 22 different legal documents that at some point might be useful for a founder. Check them out. They are in English, and you can use it. Yes, absolutely. These are really up to date, so launched in August. Yeah. How can you have an overview? Who are the 1,000 players in Estonia? Well, here's an analyze. At Startup Estonian webpage, there is a startup database. When you open it, then you can have an overview. There, we have put together such an overview that we have 16 different sectors. And you can have their number of startups, their taxes, their workers, when they were established, who are the founders, and so on. And one day you will be there. Right? And one day you will be there. Absolutely, absolutely. Together with StartupWise guys. Together with the incubator. Yes, yes. Yeah. So we try to announce and let more and more people also know what is happening in the ecosystem. So our podcast series is one of the opportunities. Take a look, check them out. Here are all our channels listed. And coming back to the incubator and the networking part of it, then you might think that entering a startup landscape must be very hard because it's technical. I don't know. I'm not that innovative, but I have an urge. I want to do and create some more value than it's usual. If that is how you feel, then you are definitely in the right place. How the things start in startup ecosystem is that they start with small ideas and by networking, and via networking finding people with whom you find strong similarities with. People who inspire you, and with them you can start building small stuff together. Ideal way how to do it is via hackathons. Show of hands, how many of you have experienced a hackathon? All right, so approximately 5. So hackathons can be, I will shortly introduce it. Hackathon is a over weekend development project, let's say so, where people gather around specific topic and they know that there are some issues, problems within this topic, and they would like to make it better, to solve the problems. Yeah, it can be very playful, but you can, as a participant, be very, very hardworking and very focused on it. So you want to have the results. So it can be very, very different, whether it is playful or whether I'm just here to learn, right? But participating at hackathons is ideal way how to learn via playing and with the help of very experienced mentors. When you are choosing yourself a hackathon, then it doesn't matter. Usually they are looking for technical people, but there is always around 30% of participants who do not have to have technical background. These are the people who are the project managers, who are the designers, who are visionaries and marketing. So these are the people who perhaps have experienced the problem themselves, and they have the deep knowledge of the problem that they want to solve now. And this, I would even say that this is the most valuable key component when the participant knows that I want to solve this because of this, because the impact would be so great. And here I have a catch for you also. So, in 3 weeks' time, there will be a cybersecurity hackathon. Cybersecurity is the field with what every one of us is in contact on a daily basis. Cybersecurity starts from social interaction up to the critical infrastructure management. The problems within the landscape are very, very varied. And I'm sure that many of you have experienced some kind of critical points or bottlenecks with this. So, in case you would like to test it out, then please register. The web page currently where you can register and find all the information is Garage 48. This is actually like the biggest hackathon organizer in Estonia, Garage and 4and8.org. So they have lots of opportunities. They just closed the digital construction hackathon. And many others are also coming. There is an educational hackathon coming, and so on. So, is this going to be online or? The cybersecurity is going to be online for sure. Yeah. So from Finland? Yes, absolutely. Join? Yeah, from everywhere. So this is done on a global scale. For note that the cybersecurity hackathon was the first hackathon I ever attended. Even not knowing what the cyber means, I just went there and it was super exciting. And after that, I was falling in love with cybersecurity and all what it comes with it. Yeah, so be careful, you know. Be careful. All right. So I really recommend to participate. You can get kind of a 6-month period, some kind of program with 3 days. Yeah, lots of ideas, lots of new connections, and possible your own teammates with whom you are going to found something. So that was all that I prepared. In case you have questions, in case not, then. You have questions? We have a speaker ready already. Yeah, very good. All right. There's a question. Startup Estonia is governmental, so we are working for the greater good. Startup Wise Guys does take shares, but not from a pre-acceleration. So pre-acceleration is you have to apply, and then you can see what is going to happen. But we do give lots of free advice and make lots of connections on a daily basis. So we are quite open for any interaction.